Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition for tonight's headlines. We have the official opening of the three-round editions of the National Disability Week by the Prime Minister. For the international scene, several European countries are tightening their restrictions. Welcome to our newsroom. A solemn opening at the People's Palace under the high patronage of the Prime Minister, His Excellency Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, the National Agency for Disabled Persons, led by Mr. Douale Saeed Mahmoud, organized this morning at the People's Palace the National Conference on Disability with the theme Commitment to Disability. The conference will last until tomorrow from Sunday 28 to Monday 29 November 2021. The meeting was attended by several ministers, including the Minister of Labor, the Minister of Youth, the Minister of Defense, Hassan Omar Mohammed, the Minister of Social Affairs, the Minister of Telecommunication, Radwan Abdullahi Bahdoun, and several senior government officials, including the Secretary General of the government, Mr. Almis Mohammed Abdullahi. Disability is the limitation of the possibility of interactions of an individual with his environment, leading to psychological and intellectual, social, and physical difficulties. Disability is first taught as a relating to an impairment causing to the permanent and non-permanent incapacity, and then redefined in relation to an equality of means, incorporating the idea that interventions to remove environmental and social barriers are necessary. The Prime Minister has stated that being disabled should not be considered a weakness. The Director General of the National Disability Agency, Douale Saeed Mahmoud, thanked the Prime Minister and the Member of Government, as well as the officials who came in mass to the opening of the Disability Week. For his part, the Secretary General of the government, Almis Mohammed Abdullahi, also spoke about the importance of people with disability. Disability is the limitation of the possibility of interactions of an individual with his environment, leading to psychological, intellectual, and social physical difficulties. Disability is first taught as relating to an impairment causing a permanent or non-permanent incapacity, and then redefined in relation to an equality of means, incorporating the idea that interventions to remove environmental and social barriers are necessary. In his turn, the Minister of Defense, Hassan Omar Mohammed, gave a heartfelt speech on the occasions of the Week of Disabled People. He said any person with disability who has a significant and persistent impairment, who is likely to experience barriers in performing everyday activities. These definitions applies to any individual, woman and man with disability. It may be a child or an adult, and seniors. In terms of disability, it may be motor, intellectual, speeches or languages, visual, auditory, and associated with other senses. It may be related to organic functions, or it may be related to an autism spectrum disorder and or serious mental health disorder. Note that this definition allows for the inclusions of people with significant episodic and cyclical disability. In his speech, the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed stressed the importance of the disabled and their value by interacting with environmental factors, with the various obstacles and facilitators encountered in the daily physical and social environment. These characteristics of the individual will influence his and her life habit. These interactions will place the individuals in situations of social participation, or on the contrary, in a situation of disability. For example, the provision of ramps outside buildings or audible signals at the intersections, as well as the use of simple pictograms to indicate bathrooms in public places, are examples of facilitator where whereas a multi-story buildings with not lift or places that refuses to accept guided dogs and or obstacles for the persons in the wheelchairs and with a visual disability. Social participation is when the person is able to carry out his or her life's habit, which refers to carrying out everyday activities such as eating, moving around housings, washing, and communicating with others, and carrying out social roles such as studying, working, leisure activity, involvement in political parties, clubs, community organizations. The Prime Minister, His Excellency Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed, today visited the ships acquired by the National Navy, moored at the quay 1 and 2 of the port. On his arrival, His Excellency Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed was welcomed by the Minister of Defense in charge of relations with Parliament, Hassan Omar Mohammed, the Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, as well as representatives of the Ports Authority. Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed was accompanied by his staff. The Prime Minister immediately carried out a review of the troops composed of elements of the National Navy. Also honored were the military defense attached at our embassy who work in friendly countries with which Djibouti maintained diplomatic relations. These defense attaché operate in Saudi Arabia, the United States, France, Russia, Somalia, Kenya, Sudan, Ethiopia, Morocco, Egypt, and China. In total, our troops are present in 11 countries. At the end of the review, the Prime Minister, His Excellency Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed, visited the ships, particularly those that were flown from the port of Cape Town in South Africa. As a result, the Captain Saad Suleiman briefed His Excellency Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed on the characteristics of the vessels, their speed, operation, and communication. His Excellency Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed was able to appreciate the true values of this technological jewel, a jewel of the National Navy, which will contribute to the maintenance of maritime security, ensure the projections of our forces, and participate in the fight against piracy and the protections of the merchant fleet. This Friday, the National Agency for Persons with Disability inaugurated the regional branch of ARTA within the CDC. The inauguration took place in the presence of the Director General of the National Agency for Persons with Disability, Douali Saeed Mahmoud, the Minister of Youth and Culture, Hibo Momin Asowe, and NPH officials who were received by the Prefect of the region, Muhammad Sheikh Hassan. The installations of these regional offices is part of a policy of proximity and decentralization of services. The main missions are to better accompany disabled people in the promotion and protection of their rights, to ensure the rehabilitation of the disabled people in order to allow them to reach the highest possible level of autonomy in their lives. This is a long-awaited operation in the Artas region. The Minister of Energy organized this morning's working meeting with the delegations of the Sustainable Electrification Program, PID, at the People's Palace. The objective of this meeting is to build the electricity network infrastructure in the districts of the capitals and in the 5 regions of the interior, also to give access to electricity to the population of the Republic of Djibouti and particularly to the most vulnerable families. The PED project will converge towards the implementation of the National Sustainable Electrification Programs to accompany the efforts of the government of Djibouti to achieve the closest possible electrification rate by 2035. The meeting was chaired by the Minister of Energy, Younis Ali Geddi, and was attended by the Minister of Housing, Urbanism, Town Planning, Amin Abdi, the Minister of Social Affairs, Solidarity, Ulufa Ismail Abdo, and the Deputy Directors of EDD and the head of the department concerned. The Minister of Energy, Younis Ali Geddi, for his part, said that the objectives of this meeting is to build electricity networks infrastructure in the district of the capital and in the 5 regions of the interior, also to give access to electricity to the population of the Djibouti and particularly to the most vulnerable families. The PED project will converge towards the implementation of the National Sustainable Electrification Program to accompany the efforts of the government of Djibouti to achieve the closest possible electrification rate by 2035. We have a press release, candidates selected to participate in the Central Bank of Djibouti recruitment competition for senior management position are reminded that they must present themselves on Wednesday, 8 December 2021 at 8 a.m. at the headquarters of the Institute of Diplomatic Studies of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. Candidates should present themselves at least 15 minutes in advance at the DFAT and bring a valid identity documents. As part of its activity to support and strengthen health programs in the countries of the region, the IGAD Secretariat, through the head of the Social Development Division, is invited the National Malaria Control Programs Manager, the Malaria Elimination Focal Point, as well as experts from all Back Malaria Alma Group, who to a 2-day regional consultation meeting today, 28 November, which opened in the city of Arta in our country. This important regional meeting on malaria control was opened by Dr. Hamdan Mustafa, representative of Sudan, the IGAD Chair's country, followed by the speeches of Fathia Abu Bakr Alwan, IGAD Directors of Health and Social Development, and the Secretary General of the Djibouti Ministry of Health, Dr. Saleh Benoita Turaba. The inter-country consultation will provide an opportunity to present the status of malaria pre-eliminations and eliminations in IGAD countries and a presentation on the priority areas of cooperation of the tripartite memorandum of understanding signed between RBM, IGAD, and the ALMA Group.
Health, social, economic determinant. And this constitute from the member of state to provide roadmap, framework through the consultation, which is the title of this meeting, collaboration, which is we will elaborate more in this meeting, coordination, which is already started, and I think malaria issue, easy, handleable, and achievable tasks based on the success stories of IGAD and many fields. One of them, the field of cross-border TB activities, the field of HIV coordination activities, the field of COVID-19 coordinating mechanism, and recently.
Listen now the speeches of Fathia Abu Bakr Alwan, IGAD, Director of Health and Social Development.
Today that the malaria, you have also now the support of RBN, and I'm very happy that today we're having consultation and also see how we can develop together a joint action plan, and still the malaria is one of the common disease which is really even killing before the HIV/AIDS or TB. Donc, I just want to thank all of you, and I hope that during the next 2 days, you will be having deep consultations and fruitful discussion, and see also how IGAD we can operationalize the MOU that we have signed with Rollback Malaria. I think it's 1 year back, and develop actually and work also through the engagement of the national program Malaria, that all you are here. I just once again like to reaffirm the commitment of IGAD to work with all of you, and also to strengthen the national collaboration for malaria elimination in the region. I would like also to thank our host country, Djibouti, for actually hosting this meeting. And also I would like to extend my appreciation to all the participants and delegates. I know that time is not on your side, and I really appreciate that you have made yourself available to actually participate in this important event. I'd like to thank you, and merci beaucoup, and have a great day. Thank you.
The Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Saleh Benoita Turaba, said that the IGAD's technical partners are also expected to present their technical support for the operationalization of the signed MOU in lines with the country's priority areas. The expected outcomes of this regional consultation to combat malaria include coordination and collaboration between the regional malaria consortiums and national malaria programs will be established and strengthened. The current status of implementation of malaria elimination actions in each IGAD member state, the identification of priority areas for malaria elimination in the country, finally, to establish a realistic tripartite work plan with the milestone of follow-up meetings in accordance with the signed MOU. On Saturday, 27 November, the Secretary General of the Ministry of National Education, Mohamed Abdallah Mahyoub, and the Inspector General of the General Education, Ms. Muna Ismail Abdou, together with the head of the Francophone Regional Centers for Africa, Youssef Arif, launched the work of the expertise missions in support of capacity buildings of the Inspectorate General of General Education and the professionalization of pedagogical advisor in the field of community training. This expertise is supported by the CREFA, which is a mechanism of international organization of the Francophone and whose headquarters are in Djibouti. This expertise mission includes preparatory phases, field observation, investigation, focus groups, administration of questionnaire, and a workshop with the inspector and pedagogical advisors. The work will result in the development of a master plan and the design of tools aimed at the professionalization and of pedagogical advisor in their core missions. In the framework of the project Monecol à Moi, the third Citizens Day of the 2021-2022 school year started this Saturday, 27 November 2021, in all the schools of the capital and the regions. This day mobilized parents, teachers, students, and many volunteers who came to lend a hand in the cleaning operation, but also preventions against the pandemic COVID-19 and awareness of civic values and citizenship. The planned activities were articulated around central themes, namely education and cultures of peace and the appropriation of civic and patriotic values, in addition to the activities of cleaning, gardening, and in respect of the barrier gestures, the emphasis was planned on a specific theme, the preservation of peace. Parents, teachers, students all were there early this morning for the well-being of their schools. A delegation from the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, including the Director General of Education, Mr. Abdi Dirir, and the Director of Communication, Mokhtar Mahmoud Odowa, visited several schools. The officials spoke to the students, their parents, and teachers to encourage them to show civic-mindedness, citizenship, and patriotism by ensuring the preservation of peace and to always show civic mindedness and citizenship. All the activities took place in a festive atmosphere and in a beautiful harmony. The Secretary General of the Environment, Dini Abdallah Omar, chaired the closing sessions of the 6th Steering Committee meeting with the Great Green Wall initiatives at the People's Palace on Thursday, 26 November. This meeting was also attended by the resident coordinator of the United Nations system, the representative of the African Union Commission, representative of United Nations Agency, as well as representatives of national authorities of Great Green Wall initiative. The objective of this 6th Regional Steering Committee is to bring together all member states and key implementing partners to take stock of the last 2 years and chart the way forward for the next few years. It should be noted that the Great Green Wall is the African Union's flagship initiative to combat the effects of climate change and desertification in Africa. The initiative aims to transform the lives of millions of people by creating a mosaic of green and productive ecosystems in North Africa, the Sahel, and Horn of Africa. The Director General of the Radio Television of Djibouti, Aden Abdi Jama, participated this morning in the first meeting via video conferences of the Development Committee of the Islamic Countries Radio Television Union in the presence of the head of relations at Djibouti Radio and Television, Mr. Mahad Abdi Roble and Ms. Roda Ibrahim Khaire. This meeting follows the recommendations of this 6th and 7th meeting of the Executive Councils of the Federation of Islamic Countries Radio and Television, the first meeting of the Development Committee of the Union of Islamic Radio Television focused on 4 main points, including the development plan of the Union in the next stages. It is worth noting that this meeting also resulted in Radio Television Djibouti joining the Development Committee of the Federations of Islamic Countries Radio and Television for the first time. As part of the efforts to bring specialized medical care closer to the population in the interior region, Al-Rahma Hospital in Balbala organized on Friday a medical caravan in Ali Sabih Regional Hospital. This medical caravan, which is the 8th of its kind, was organized under the supervision of the Minister of Health in the presence of the Director of Al-Rahma, Dr. Muhammad Al-Sharqawi, senior officials of the regional offices of Al-Rahma in Djibouti, as well as officials of these medical buildings in Ali Sabih. The inhabitants of the city of Ali Sabih and the surrounding areas came in large numbers to take advantage of this medical caravan. The main aim of this initiative is to provide health coverage to the population as well as to transfer difficult cases to Al-Rahma Hospital in Balbala to complete the treatment. After the stage of the region of Tajura and Damerjog, the caravanners of the movement of United and the movement One and Indivisible Youth have put their bags in Ali Sabih. It is in the room of the regional councils of Ali Sabih that the young caravanners were received by the local authorities under the theme of the volunteerism, citizenship, patriotism, and social cohesion. The aim of this caravan is to inculcate in the minds of the youth of Ali Sabih the virtues of citizenship, patriotism, civic mindedness, and volunteerism in order to make young people responsible citizens, patriots, and an ideal of peace, unity, to promote volunteerism and social cohesion, sincere, enriching, concrete, and objective exchange. Marked this second outing of this caravan, which aims to federate youth and make it more responsible, to make it a strong and indispensable pillar while being united and welded for the continuity of the constructions of a more united and emerging Djibouti. As part of the World Children's Day, the COVID-19 Awareness Committee, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, organized an evening to raise awareness of the spread of COVID-19. The event took place in the Tajura Sports Complex after having toured the different districts of the White City. The awareness committee took this opportunity to inform and sensitize the population on the importance of vaccinating and protecting themselves by respecting the barrier gestures and the use of masks. This festive event was attended by senior officials and religious customary leaders of Tajura, including the president of the RPP Annex, Ali Muhammad Ali Gadile. It should be recalled that this awareness-raising event was marked by the presence of many young people from the White City. On this occasion, the sensitization committee who spoke emphasized the importance of mobilizing to fight COVID-19 in mass. For the international scene, in the wake of several reports of Omicron variant contaminations in Europe, many countries are tightening their restrictions. The United Kingdom, for example, is tightening entry measures. 10 African countries have already been placed on a red list, and only British residents from these countries are allowed to enter the UK. In addition, new tests will be requested from Sunday from all travelers in Italy. A first case of Omicron variant was detected on Saturday. This new mutation is suspected by some scientists to be more dangerous as it is more contagious and resistant. The tests are currently underway to verify this hypothesis. Many cities in Bologna, Milan, and Bergamo have already reintroduced the wearing of masks outdoor. Rome is planning to do the same from December. In Germany, Bavarian authorities confirmed on Saturday that they had detected the country's first 2 cases of Omicron variant infections in travelers arriving from South Africa at Munich airport. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.